right, and we're back. This is the Metal Dad and Thor weekly update. Today we're going to get started with the action from BYU Houston. Zach Wilson is the man.
He is, and I told you guys last week, sitting right at this very table, that if you got a chance to watch BYU, to take it, because Zach Wilson is a lot of fun to watch. They came on 9:30 Friday night, and didn't disappoint. I think it was a 78-yard touchdown pass right off the gate on the first play. So dude just puts up numbers. He just seems like the nicest guy. Every time they play, the announcers got to talk about his work ethic. And during the pandemic, he was driving 10 hours on Friday, working out with Drew Brees, Philip Rivers, and some QB coaches on Saturday, driving back 10 hours to campus on Sunday, doing that pretty much every weekend. Dude watches a ton of film. Just seems like just a great guy. He's moved into the top 5 top QBs coming out for this coming draft. Just a lot of fun to watch. I enjoy the hell out of those games.
Yeah. Now we're going to move on. There's not really a whole lot to say about BYU. Their schedule's a bit of an issue, and I think it's going to hurt them later on this season. So let's go ahead and move on to the battle at Clash of the Titans from last night. Georgia, Alabama. Georgia came to play for the first half. They ended up 24-20 at the end of the half, and the wheels fell off soon after the second half started. We watched the game together, and
I watched it again this morning.
And it's safe to say the thing about Georgia is they compete on at every level with Alabama except the quarterback situation, and it's killing them.
Yep. I basically predicted how this game was going to go, almost to the T, just like if you watched
I hate it when you're right.
my Thursday episode. I basically, was like, can they move the football on? Can they do what Stetson Bennett? Well, no, they couldn't. To an extent. I also called at this very table. We were sitting here over the summer, and I said that Georgia would lose this game and then beat Alabama in the SEC championship game, and I think that has a chance of happening still. Georgia's got to get there, of course, but Georgia came to play, like you said. I thought they played well. There was a couple of defensive breakdowns. Alabama kills you with the long ball. You kind of get lulled by trying to stop Najee Harris. They've got so many weapons. They got beat with the long ball first possession when Stetson Bennett threw a pick in the first drive for Georgia. Threw a 40-yard touchdown pass to Robert Mechie. Mac Jones did. They had the 90-yard touchdown pass with 4 minutes left to go in the third quarter. Georgia was winning still 24-20. And they threw the 90-yard touchdown pass to Watt, and they took a lead, 27-24. Georgia marched right down the field, and then Stetson Bennett throws a pick in the red zone. Alabama comes back and scores a touchdown. He looked at 14 points within the third quarter, and then that 7 points in the fourth quarter. 21 points came in the span, I think 4 minutes at the end of the third quarter, early fourth. Georgia really couldn't do a ton offensively in the second half. Guys were open. Bennett just couldn't hit him. You could tell he was rattled a good bit. Like I said, I thought Georgia's defense played well. They gave up, I think, 3 big pass plays. The 2 touchdowns and a long pass to Waddle. Najee Harris just beat the hell out of him. Almost all of that yardage was second half.
Right.
I think Georgia can compete with them. It's a QB issue.
A lot of batted balls.
Yeah, a lot of bad. I think it was 9 batted balls down at the line of scrimmage. Where the last 2 times these teams have played in Atlanta, Jake Fromm played well both games, but same deal. Second half, they had trouble scoring. And that was basically the case. And Alabama's offense is explosive. I mean, you take away 2 possessions, and Georgia still loses, but they're losing 27-24.
Right.
So tough loss for Georgia. I don't care how many yards. Like we're looking at here, Devonta Smith 167 yards, Mac Jones 417 and 4 TDs, Najee Harris 150 yards and a TD. I know what those stats signify. I still think Georgia's defense is awesome. And it's been said on every media outlet today, any team in the country is going to give up a shit ton of points and yards to Alabama. That's just a fact. So
Yeah, too many weapons, too many options. It's inevitable. Let's move on. I just want to say Clemson Tech 73-7. I watched some of that here at the house. Trevor Lawrence, his arm is superior. He's NFL ready right now.
Yes.
Tech, God, they suck. Past that, I don't have anything to add about that.
Nah, it's just not even worth talking about.
No. Notre Dame defeats Louisville 12-7. Didn't see this game. Like I said, there's nothing really much to say about that one either.
An elite, they're ranked number 4 in the country, in my opinion, way overrated. But an elite team doesn't win 12-7 against Louisville. But hey, I'm just happy Notre Dame's playing in the conference.
So the next game on our little docket here, North Carolina, Florida State. The team that Mr. Milan over here has been very high on for the past couple of weeks decided to take the L against Florida State.
Didn't see that one coming. If you've been watching this channel, you know I'm high on North Carolina. I did a whole episode on them. I've mentioned them in multiple other episodes of how high I was on them. It's a high-flying offense, and they scored 28 points yesterday, and they lost to Florida State. What can I say? Florida State was kind of a dumpster fire for a while. They came to play. I still like where North Carolina sits in the conference. I still project them probably to win out, maybe lose to Notre Dame. I don't know. I think they beat Notre Dame, and they end up playing Clemson in the ACC championship game. And from there, it's anybody's guess if they can take Clemson down. But I'm still high on them. They had a hiccup and they lost. Yeah. It happens.
Let's move on. A&M defeats Mississippi State 24-14. A&M, Jimbo's got him playing pretty well. Mike Leach, give him 3 or 4 more years. Let him get his guys in there. He's going to do something with Mississippi State.
That score is a little bit misleading. It was a boring game. A&M basically had it in control the entire game. One of Mississippi State's 2 touchdowns on the day, that's all they had, was 14 points, was a batted ball that Mon threw and got batted like 20 yards back and happened to land in the arms of a dude. He just ran it in. Kind of a fluke play. So the score, in my opinion, is a little bit misleading. I think it was, to me, watching it was obviously A&M was in control.
Let's move on. We'll do Miami, Pittsburgh, 31-19. Miami is 4-1 on the season, 13th in the country. Let's move on past that game and let's talk about the battle of the 2 coaches who are probably fighting for their jobs. Number 15, Auburn against South Carolina. South Carolina wins 30-22. Gus Bus, what's up?
Gus Bus got a couple of wheels come falling off. But again, Tank Bigsby from right here in the Grange, talked about him a few weeks ago, went for a $111 in his first touchdown. So good for him. He's basically the only reason to watch Auburn because the dude runs angry. He looks like Todd Gurley when he runs. He's not quite as big, but he looks like Gurley. Gus Malzahn can't develop quarterbacks. If you look at, I'm going to include the 2010 National Championship because Gus Malzahn was the offensive coordinator at Auburn. You look at that season, then the year they went to the national title against Florida State in 2013, and then when they went to the SEC Championship game in 2017. All 3 of those years they had a transfer QB. Cam Newton came from junior college after he got kicked out of Florida for stealing a laptop. Nick Marshall got kicked out of Georgia for stealing money from a fellow teammate, went to junior college, and they got Stidham from Baylor. Those were all dudes who come in and played either 1 year or 2 years with Auburn. He gets a recruit. They've had many 4 and 5 stars commit. He just can't develop them. They either leave or they never play, or they'll play and then a transfer will come and take the job. Bo Nix looks way worse than he did last year.
He's regressing.
He's regressing terribly. He's throwing the ball off his back foot. He's not balanced. He's getting happy feet in the pocket when there's nobody around him. He's escaping the pocket, which he's really good at doing. But yesterday he escaped the pocket 5 or 6 times when he didn't need to. He just step up in the pocket, make the throw. He got in a little bit of a spat with Seth Williams on the sideline, who basically has been missing since the Georgia game. Georgia broke him. Georgia broke Auburn. But South Carolina looked pretty good. They got a couple of nice running backs. Shi Smith's an explosive player. defense is okay. I'm not sold on their QB. I don't think they're going to really be able to move the ball well on a team like Georgia when they play them. Basically, all that they've got left on their schedule in the SEC is Georgia. The rest, I think, are kind of winnable. I think they still play Vandy, and they play Missouri. But yeah, a good win for them. Probably saved Muschamp's job, but
For now.
yeah, for now. Yeah, Auburn sucks.
It's a long season. Kentucky, Tennessee. Tennessee got spanked. Kentucky finally showed up. Jeremy Pruitt's team, they got quarterback issues there. That's their main issue right now.
Garantano threw 2 pick sixes. They yank him, and then the backup comes in and throws a pick. And this was all in the first quarter. So right off the bat, it's 14-0, and they just never recovered. They had a really nice drive there at the end of the half to score their only points of the game. That quarterback is bad. And again, that's another team that Georgia broke. There used to be an old saying, don't let Bama beat you twice. And now, the last few years, that's also applying to teams that play Georgia. But anyway, Garantano's just bad. I mean, I was kind of following it on Vol Twitter yesterday, and they basically saying the same thing. Pruitt's recruiting well. They got a decent offensive line. They got a pretty, they have a decent defense. Nothing great, but it's decent. Quarterback issues are holding them back. I didn't expect Kentucky to beat them that badly. I didn't expect Kentucky to win at all because, in my opinion, Kentucky's one-dimensional. But looking at the stats for this season, Kentucky, their defense is really, really good, and they're just a few plays away from being undefeated. They got robbed at Auburn first game of the season. So
we actually went to Kentucky, 10 years ago now?
Yeah,
12 years ago.
Quite a while ago.
Yeah, and that stadium's for 60-something thousand people. When they're up against the team they shouldn't be up against, that place gets rocked. You're not going to see it this year because these stadiums are a quarter of capacity, but great place to watch a football game.
Real nice campus. If you have a chance, if your team, schedules Kentucky, and it's in Kentucky, go, because it's a really nice place. It's a fun atmosphere. It's one of the better ones we've been to.
Yeah, November, watching a basketball game on a Friday night and going to the bars is a good time.
And then going to a football game on Saturday.
Okay, well, this is the portion where we start talking about next week's docket. Friday night, Illinois plays Wisconsin, and
Big Ten is back.
Big Ten is back.
About damn time.
Yeah, well, we would mention too that LSU and Florida did not play this week because of the COVID, but they are scheduled here not next week, but the week after.
Yeah, Florida complained. They whined because they were going to end up losing their bye week before they play Georgia. They were going to have to play their makeup game. So the SEC caved to Florida like the SEC is prone to doing, and they rearranged next week's schedule. So 4 of the games that we're supposed to play next Saturday are not going to be played. They're going to be played on Halloween. So a lot of the SEC has an off week next week.
Yeah. So we got Wisconsin, Illinois Friday night. Saturday, Syracuse, Clemson. This is always that game Clemson plays every year. The teams, Syracuse sticks around a little longer than they should. I don't see that happening this year. I don't think anybody's hanging with Clemson unless it's Alabama, maybe Ohio State, maybe Georgia.
And I'm not watching much Clemson. There's no need to. I know what they're about. And their games are boring. All you do, if you're late to the game, if you tune in, if they're a noon kick and you tune in at 12:15, they're already up 28-0, and you're like, okay, you watch something else.
Moving on. Nebraska and Ohio State play at noon. You pretty much know how that's going to play, but you never know. Both teams haven't played all season long, so first game of the season, anything's possible. NC State, number 23 ranked right now against North Carolina. That's also a noon start next week.
Noon kickoffs, good lord. It's like a thing in the Big Ten, and they love it.
Yeah.
But
noon. Yeah. Kansas State, Kansas, noon.
Not a lot of good games. Alabama, Tennessee, I mean, we know how that's going to go, but I mean, it's a rivalry game. Tennessee and Alabama are huge rivals. They play every year. So, of course, Gary Danielson will be kind of, Mac Jones and, Nick Saban the whole 4 hours. But, it's a rivalry game. People are going to tune in.
We got Notre Dame, Pittsburgh.
It could be a sneaky good game.
It could be.
Pittsburgh got a really good defense, and if their offense shows up, You never know.
Right.
That game right there is I'm probably gonna miss because I got a wedding. But
The 3:30 game, Iowa State, Oklahoma State. That's number 6 versus number 17. This game could decide who is going to be the Big 12 champion, I think.
well, the way the Big 12 is set up, they play again. But yeah, I mean, this is gonna give the winner definitely a leg up in the conference. Oklahoma State's undefeated. Iowa State's got one loss. Now it's to Louisiana Raging Cajuns, non-conference. So that's gonna be a fun game to watch.
Yeah, Penn State, Indiana, 3:30 start. That's going to be in Indiana, Bloomington. Yeah, don't know anything about it. Virginia Tech, Wake Forest, Michigan against Minnesota.
7:30. So I'll probably get home in time to watch that one. And then the Virginia Miami game at 8. I'll probably watch those 2 games in the evening. But yeah, check it out. We got a 10:15 game. BYU, Texas State.
I think we need to be watching this game. I like BYU. There's something about that team I like.
Stuart Mandel from The Athletic, who's been a Corona bro this whole time and is upset that they're playing football. He said he had a great tweet yesterday. It was like, this season for BYU is just looking special. Unfortunately, they're probably not going to, they'll play a bowl, but they're not going to get in the playoff due to that schedule. But, 10:15 at night, try not to get too drunk so you can stay up and watch it. You're going to like Wilson. The kid is so good.
I mean, they might make a New Year's Day bowl.
Oh, yeah. I mean, they'll make a decent bowl.
They just won't be in the playoff,
Yeah.
which they're not going to be able to hang.
No.
Just with the talent. I mean, it's be a miracle. Be like the Boise State.
I think they'd move the football on them. As good as Zach Wilson is, they'd move the football on people.
They just don't have the horses.
Yeah, they don't have the horses, especially on defense. Teams are just going to run through them. So I'm glad the Big Ten's back.
Yeah, good thing because they're going to have a weak schedule next week, SEC-wise, and that's going to conclude this episode.
Yeah.
We're going to continue trying to do a weekly deal here. We may change the name. We were talking about this yesterday to college football discussion board, weekly report, or whatever.
We're working on some things to make it a little bit better for everybody.
We're probably going to buy a
We'll
camera at some point in time. I'm using my phone to record these things at the moment. So, but yeah, I got a book, the Appalachian Trail story of the evolution of Thor, the Appalachian Trail story, Thor the Red. Check it out. It's on Amazon. Brett, you can check out his metal channel.
Headbanger's Closet, my metal vinyl collection.
That's right. That's right. Well, you guys have a good day. Peace.
Peace. See you next week.
That's right. 17 minutes.